Hi guys, and welcome back to DIY Agric, your number one animal scientist and your poultry success partner. So in today's video, I want to be helping you to make the best decision. I want to help you to choose between the battery cage system and the deep litter system. Of course, after this video, I'm sure that you will be able to make the best decision for your farm operation. So if you're just joining us here, I would like you to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my videos. So let's quickly dive into what we have today. Alright, so battery cage or deep litter? If you ask me, I don't believe that by all means you should just choose one, like you should go with one. There's no one choice that suits every situation. There must be a reason why those who are doing deep litter are doing deep litter, and there must be a reason why those who are using battery cage are using battery cages. So that is what you must try to find out. Yes, but it's possible for me to just wake up today and choose deep litter for a particular situation, and for another situation I might just choose battery cages. So join me as I tell you why people are going for battery cages and why others are going for deep litter system. Yes, I'm going to start with the battery cages. There are so many people that will just tell you right now that, oh, it is battery cages, it is battery cages. But why are they doing so? Why are they choosing battery cages? First, because of the minimum labor required to manage the battery cage system. In a pen house of 10,000 layers already into production, where you have to pick eggs, serve the feed, and also operate the water system daily, 2 persons can manage that effectively. That's this 10,000 layers, 2 persons can manage it effectively in a cage system. Whereas when you're talking about the deep litter system, wow, you're going to need like 4 persons minimum of 4 for 10,000 capacity, because it's a lot of work before you carry the feed from this point to the other point, and it becomes even worse if they are not using automatic watering system. So you have to serve water every now and then. It's so tedious. So because of the labor intensity, people want to go for the battery cage system because it minimizes the labor required. 2 persons can just handle 10,000 beds. I've even seen cases where 2 persons handle up to 15,000 beds. Yes, the main work there is just to pick the eggs, and if they are now using automatic feeders where the feeder just moves from one point to the other serving the feed, then it's just a piece of cake, you know. It's just to load the feed inside the feeders, the hopper now, and then they just move the machine by pressing a button. So that's number one. Okay, so another reason why people choose the battery cage system is that you're able to maximize the space. The kind of space you require for 1,000 bed on deep litter is going to be more than what you need for 1,000 bed in battery cage. For example, in your battery cage, where you have your A-type, the A-type cages like this that goes like that, the cages are arranged like that. You know, you can even have up to 4 tiers or 5 tiers, but the most common one is 3 tiers. That is, you have 3 steps. So the hens are here, the hens are here, the hens are here. You can have 4, 5 steps. So the higher it goes, the more the tiers. So on this space alone, you have lots and lots of hens. So you're able to maximize the space that you have. And don't forget, it's not everybody that has the opportunity to go start their farm in the village where the land is cheap. Some people are only able to get their land in cities where we don't really have space like that, and the price for land is huge. So you want to maximize the little space that you have. That might be the reason why you want to choose battery cage. Another reason is feed wastage. Yes, feed wastage is minimized in battery cages, especially when the cage is fitted well. When the feeding troughs are fitted properly, you're able to minimize wastage of feed. In fact, the hens don't even get in contact with the feed. They just eat it from the trough. They put out their mouth from inside the cells of the cages, and they eat directly from the trough. So you are able to minimize wastage. Another thing is egg eating does not happen inside the cage. Yes, if you leave your hens to be in contact with their eggs for a long period of time, it is possible that they start to experiment, they start to investigate, like, what is this, and they start to peck. Once they peck and they are able to open up the egg, they suck it for the first time, they become accustomed to that and they want to do it over and over again. So there are times in your deep litter that you may not see egg, but they have actually laid the eggs and they are eating the egg. They eat everything, even the shells. Yes, that's as bad as it can get. So in the cage, it doesn't happen because the eggs are laid and they roll out of the compartment where the hens are. They roll out on the tray where you just come and pick the eggs. So that's another reason why some people go for the cage system, and that can also add to the reason why egg production in the cage is usually more. It's only adding to it anyway. It's not the only reason why egg production in the cage is more. So basically, when you are going into the business, you really want more eggs, and instinctively you just want to go for the cages because they have told you and it's proven that the eggs inside the cages are more. So that's another reason egg is usually more. The return is usually higher when you go for cages. Another critical part is that you can easily detect the part where, the section of the cage where the hens are not laying eggs. You can tell, okay, this hen, out of these 4 hens in these cells, maybe one of them is not laying or 2 of them are not laying. Maybe on that part you don't often see eggs, and on the other parts you see eggs, so you can easily detect. But in a deep litter, it is impossible for you to say, okay, this is the hen that is not laying, because all of them are just going everywhere. The one you are seeing at this point now may be at that extreme end the next minute. So you can trace the hens that are not laying in the cage system, whereas in the deep litter you cannot. But let's not forget that coming with all these advantages of the cage system is the huge disadvantage of high cost. Yes, it is high cost of investment. You take, for example, you still have to build the house, you still have to build the pen before you now install the cages. So that is like double expenses. In fact, the prices of cages, if you are really going for original cages, maybe the hot deep galvanized cages, they are damn expensive. A 120 units of the hot deep galvanized cages now cost about 130,000 naira. 130,000 naira just for the 120 capacity. So if you are getting for 1,200, that's 1.2 million naira already just for the cages. So you can see that it's a lot, and if you do that, you are still going to spend some extra charges, maybe for installation and all that. So the cage system is quite expensive. It's not something everybody can chew. Alright, so I've said a lot of things, a lot of good things about the cage system that makes it sound so appealing already, and you're like, oh, I just want to go for the cage system. But then don't forget about the last part where I said the cost of the cage system is pretty high, which brings us to the first major advantage of the deep litter system, that is the low startup cost. It doesn't cost so much. You don't have to go the extra mile to do cages. Once you are done with the house, that is the pen, you can just put your beds in and do the nest boxes, and they enter there, they lay, you pick your eggs, and you have become a business person. You started the egg production business already without having to spend 1.2 million naira or more on the cage for 1,000 capacity layers. That's one. And another very important factor, especially for beginners now, is that the deep litter system allows you to track or trace sick birds easily. A lot of people are careless with the cages. The hens are just inside the cages and they are in their numbers. So oftentimes people who are not experts in the business, they don't know how to trace, okay, which chicken is sick or which one is not sick. Did you know that on the floor you can see, okay, this one is not eating, is sluggish, is not walking fast, is unthrifty, and you can easily pick up the hen and put it in the sick bay, give it some attention, give some drugs, some medications, and this chicken gets better. But in the cage, they are just confined, they are on a spot. It's normal for them to be on a spot, whether you are walking around or whatever you are doing. You don't conceive it as something bad when they are standing on one point. So you may not be able to say, okay, this hen is sick inside the cage. Of course, pros like me, we know how to track or trace a sick bird even inside the cage, but then it is more difficult. It is easier in the deep litter system. So that might be the reason why some people, at least to start with, we want to do the deep litter system. And there can be a kind of progression from the deep litter system to the cage system. It's easy. All you need to do is just bring in the cages, and probably you have to do some adjustment on the floor. You have to dig the drain so that the poop goes there and you're able to push it outside the pen, so you can easily adjust. But then if you start with the cage, I doubt if you can come back to deep litter. Who does that? So it's a starting point. Deep litter can be a starting point actually for a beginner. It helps you to get a hang of the process. You master, okay, this is how a bird looks when they are sick and all that, and you can then, after making some millions from the business, you can just get some cages and you improve. Yes, everybody wants to improve. And number 3, most times when you are starting a new business, this is also for newbies. Most times when you are starting a new business, sometimes you are not going fully into it. You just want to test the waters and see, okay, is this thing going to work? Am I going to stay in this business for long? Yes, the deep litter system is what you want to do in that case, because you are minimizing your risk, you are minimizing your investment capacity, and you can easily back out. If it's a deep litter system, you can easily back out. If it's a cage system, you have to sell the cages at a reduced rate and it's going to be more loss. So it's a good way to test the waters, actually, and see if egg production is your thing. And lastly, your own reason for choosing the deep litter system may be because you want to treat the birds well, you want to treat the hens well, you want to give them some freedom. You don't want to confine them, you don't want them to stay in just one 16 by 16 inches compartment, 4 of them inside that compartment, and for months, 18 months, 1.5 years. So that's a lot of time. Some people want to be nice to the birds. They don't want them to be confined like that. They want them to express themselves, to be free to roost and all that. But then, man, if you're looking for money, if you want to make some money, you don't really think that. You don't really think about that. That's what the birds are made for. They are made for egg production and they are good with confinement. So, but your own reason for choosing the deep litter again might be because you want your birds to have some freedom. If that's the reason, just go. But it can't be my reason, actually. It can't be my own reason for wanting to choose the deep litter. No, it can't be, because any chicken you are slaughtering, are you nice to that? You are not nice to the bird. You are not nice to the bird. So that's a roundup of what you need to know about the deep litter system and the battery cage system. So I believe with this you are able to choose which one is best for you. If you think you've gotten value from this video, I would like you to hit the like button. Also, if you're yet to subscribe, you want to hit the subscribe button right away. And just so you don't miss my new uploads, you want to click that notification bell. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.